The following production is intended for entertainment purposes only. We are not legal professionals. We do not speak for any government agency, and the opinions expressed here are our own. Relax. Family, Lawless Podcast Nation.
Represent.
Represent. Welcome to
You
Lawless
know,
Podcast with Justin and Clayton's my buddy Justin. I'm Clayton. We have fun.
yep. Something that I just really annoys me is how, like, I don't know that it's so much a thing anymore, but there for a while there was a trend, and I think it was especially kind of in Jim Rome's prime, but people would say blank nation. So like
Yeah.
Raider Nation, Chiefs Nation,
Uh-huh.
Jayhawk Nation, Wildcat. Like, shut up about
What the
whatever
nation?
nation. Just stop. Come up with
Yeah.
something else. So, but it's been a little while, so I think we're good to say Lawless Nation.
There's
I
been
think
yeah.
there's
There's
been a
been enough
break.
room. There's been some breath in there. There's enough of the Rome
Yeah.
era. What up, Lawless
Uh,
Podcast Nation?
Nation. But I'll be honest. It's possible. It's not likely, but it is possible that sometimes I just get annoyed about things that I probably shouldn't get annoyed about,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like that normal people would just kind of overlook. But stuff like that, like overusing a phrase, or especially if there's a phrase that's popular in culture or society, and then advertisers start using it, or they like try to jump in on the bandwagon, or like a trend. You know what I mean? Um, and it's just I think it's just always cringe. It's just always like, ugh, like you're not one of us. Go away.
boy, legacy media and like legacy advertisers like that better get on their knees every night and thank the Lord for sports because that's the only thing that's keeping anyone watching legacy media. ABC, CBS.
Dude, uh, I think it's this. I think it's the same on. I'm not going to say legacy media because I've never used that term in my life, but and I don't want to be a poser. I think it's the same online and on network TV. Every commercial, at least every commercial break, but almost every commercial is about pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means, but it's to the point where Sarah and I will a lot of times watch shows in bed, and like every commercial break, I'm like, it's pharmaceutical. It's the
Yeah.
weirdest thing because it's not like I'm gonna be shopping and say, hey, can I get some of that xyloflexamine, whatever?
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm not gonna remember what it's called. So what's
Well,
the point of advertising it to me?
I think these advertisements, actually I've heard this from a few educated people, and I'm probably gonna butcher it, my translation, but these pharmaceuticals have to advertise for like they have to have these disclosures to the public by court
Uh,
order. Like you guys have to
but
tell the public that you cause anal bleeding and fissures.
like, so essentially, like, the when you have to post something in the back of the newspaper for 30 days
Like an
in the
auction.
town newspaper,
Hmm.
it's just got to be printed.
Yes.
Dude, that makes
That
a lot of sense.
Well, and there's also a real brass tacks of it is they are, like you said, every commercial break, Prime, Hulu, all of them, they are getting money from these people. Like they are their number one advertiser. And so if their number one advertiser says, "Hey, I don't want you talking about any immunizations," you're not going to talk about any immunizations. If the only one keeping the
Yeah.
lights on is Pfizer, you're not going to talk about anything that you're not supposed to talk. They don't want you to talk about.
So
That's
could they, in theory, and I know anything could happen in theory, but let's say that Pfizer doesn't like the show that they're producing because it's anti, it's
uh
potentially against anti them. So
yeah.
they could say, hey, we're gonna pull we're gonna pull our advertising if that comes out.
Yeah.
And as a business that needs to make money, depending on how they
Yeah,
weigh
yeah,
it.
you have a business decision to make.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, stuff like that just irritates me. Or like the sound of it's usually beer commercials, but drink commercials where they like click the top and then they pour it and it kind of guzzles. And because I feel like you just have to say drink, and you don't have to pour it because I
Yeah,
already know what you're talking about. Like
yeah.
all you have to say can of beer. You can say Coors, cans of beer, and I know. Oh yeah, I know what that is. You don't have to. Oh, and the foam. Like just stop. It's stupid. It's a waste of
You
time.
you could just have like your comp like for Bud Light, it would be blue and white font and it says Bud Light, drink beer now. And then just have
That's
that
it.
on the screen. Or maybe like
That's it.
that and the backdrop of like some girls playing volleyball on the beach. You're like, fucking hey, where's the Bud
You don't
Light?
need, you don't even need that because you could also
You
just
don't
have
need
like,
that, but that's just entertainment value at this point.
well, yeah, I guess, but I'm saying just a blue can for Bud Light,
I'm
a,
weird for
a,
bringing that up. Sorry.
a silver can for
Yeah.
Coors Light. Uh,
What
and
about
I guess
Cure's Banquet?
Coors,
Cure's Banquet.
that's got to be gold. Uh, yeah, I'll be honest. Green for Heineken. I guess I'm not a beer drinker. I used to try
No.
to. No, I mean, I shouldn't say try. I will occasionally. It's kind of like I think coffee is to some people. Some
Yeah.
people will say, you know, like, I just don't like coffee, but I'll drink it socially. That's how I always was with beer. Um,
Hmm.
Sometimes if it's like sometimes on a summer day, there's just nothing better. But outside of that, I
Well,
just don't care.
I'm so far off of it now where and full disclosure, well, I'm so far away from drinking alcohol now that I will occasionally have a beer, and when I do, like, especially the commercial beers like Coors, Bud Light, any of them things, I'll have a beer and have a splitting headache in the morning, like
Really.
it'll just do me in.
Mm.
But sometimes I'll have a porter or a stout, which is a really high calorie beer, but it's super thick and like it's an old school beer. There's more to it than just empty calories. Um, that I never get. But like you can't get wrecked on porters and stouts because if you have five of them, you're gonna
Um,
pass out. Like
or you're gonna or you're gonna puke.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or you might do both.
Yeah. Depends on what your
Uh,
personal pleasure is that night.
yeah, I don't know if it's probably not the time for the story, but there is a story of when I did both of those things. Actually, I've done that a couple times, but the story I'm going to talk about is when I was in England, and
Uh-huh.
we were having a Burns night, and which is
What were
basically
you doing
like
in England?
it was a work exchange thing. It
Yeah.
was really cool. I was there for a month, so I went over there with their police and did ride-alongs and just toured different facilities. It
In
was
what
really neat.
town?
All over the West Midlands. So like,
I know London.
yeah, I didn't go to London.
Okay.
Uh, I went to yeah, just like Wolverhampton and just different areas. But uh, one of the guys that I stayed with was part of a Scotch society, and as part of this Scotch society, he would get new bottles of Scotch every month, you know, and
Uh-huh.
he had all the history of it, whatever. Well, I would stay with these people for a week at a time. Um, so he and I and his son-in-law, both of them were cops. Just like we had fun, like we were hanging out. We got to know each other and enjoyed each other's company over the week. He was quite a bit older. Um, well, he decided we would have a Burns night, like toward the end of it, like on a Friday or something like that. Which apparently that involves eating haggis, drinking scotch, and quoting Burns poetry.
Oh, and
So
I
anyway,
was gonna say and puking into a fire because
that's part of it. so so we have he cooks up this haggis, which I don't know exactly what is inside it, but I know that what it's cooked in is the like the
lamb
sheep
stomach.
stomach.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and so that's so like it kind of looks like a
It's like
Just
sausage and potatoes and vegetables, like
yeah,
meat and stuff.
I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, I don't know. But so it's in like the stomach, and it's got all this little ports, and it's pretty gross. Um,
Yeah,
well, we're
that's
drinking.
fucking gross. That's
Oh, dude, it's
appalling.
so gross.
What?
Uh, but we're drinking red wine all night,
Uh-huh.
reading this poetry, and then he breaks out the scotch, and he's telling all about the history and asking, "Can you taste the oak? And can you taste?" And I can't taste any of it anyway
Yeah,
because
it
it
tastes
just
like
tastes like
gasoline.
it just tastes like hairspray.
Yeah, it tastes like rubbing alcohol.
Some of it tastes like hairspray that was poured in a campfire, right? And then it was sifted from the campfire and then put back in the bottle. But yeah, so I'm just like, yeah, oh yeah, I can taste that. And this is from this type
Mmm.
of was that from cedar? It was like okay.
Terpenes.
So
Terpenes.
I at some point I decide it's time to go to bed. So I go to bed. And I wake up at
Oh,
sometime in the morning and there's red wine and haggis everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. And so I go like into panic mode, so I'm trying to clean it up and pull up the sheet, and obviously it's so, there's no idea, I have no idea how many hours it sat like that. So it
Oh.
sunk through the
Yeah. It's
through the
saturated.
sheets.
It's
Yeah,
saturated.
I destroyed their queen size bed.
Of course you did.
I just absolutely destroyed it. Like there's nothing. There's no cleaning it. That smell is all. They probably had to move. At the very least, they had to replace the carpet. I feel terrible about it.
Wow. Do you mind if I tell a similar story? I'm not trying to one up you. Do you mind if I tell a similar
Not
story?
not at all.
It would just be a sin to the conversation if I didn't share it. Jeffrey Rogers, I'm gonna tag you in this episode. My first roommate in the Navy before Ashley. Praise the Lord. Wait, this is years before Ashley. I'm older than my wife. Me and my wife met in the Navy. This was in the years before I met my wife. Just a debaucherous sailor.
You've said that like 4 times so far, so I'm
I'm
really
prefacing this.
curious.
I'm
Yeah,
prefacing. Whoo!
Ashley, this was before you.
Yeah. It's not going to be involve any women or nothing embarrassing like that. But
Yeah, no.
I was living a crazy life. We had already gone on our '04 deployment on the USS George Washington. I told the story about blacking out in Greece here before, right? Yeah, I know I did.
Uh, yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I was
That,
gonna say, but it's worth telling again. But tell this
that
story
another time, another time.
another time.
This was a similar story. The, go on, I already gone on that deployment. Come back. I bought me a 92 Grand Am from one of the old
Yeah, you
youth
did.
pastors. That was my car. I had to go to 3 different ATMs to pull out enough cash so I can give it to them because I maxed out the ATM, withdrawal,
Yeah.
whatever. Uh, had my 92 Grand Am, got me an apartment in Newport News, Virginia, with Jeffrey Rogers and his girlfriend. Jeffrey or his girlfriend, we ended up hanging out with a bunch of one night. Um,
Oh, nice.
Jeff grew up there in the area and worked construction before he joined the Navy, so he knew a bunch of construction folks. Well, one of his construction buddies was a hang around, not like a prospect or anything, but just like a normal hang around of this club or like those guys that would frequent the area. Um, they have a party at this one guy's house who is a Angels, but he's also a hairdresser. He's very stylish, but he has an old lady and drives choppers and wears his colors everywhere, and he has fabulous hair. He's that's just what he is. And I'm not disrespecting him at all, and I'm not disrespecting the organization, any organization. But anyway,
Is it Angels with a Z though? Like there, like is was he part of like a dance troupe, Angels, or was it
oh
like
no, he was in the MC. Yeah, like
okay,
the screaming skull, the flaming
okay,
skull. He was
the real deal?
real deal. Like this is going to be part of the story. Dangerous fellas. Um, they some we eat this barbecue this is part of the story too. We eat like this dry barbecue, not haggis. This
Hold
is
on.
delicious.
I don't know that you explained. Maybe I missed it. How did
Okay,
you end up in this at this
good.
party?
Thank you. Thank you. My buddy Jeff worked construction with this guy. I don't want to say his name, but I remember his name. Um, who was a hang around of these guys. Jeff and his buddy say, "Hey, we're gonna have barbecue over at the hairdresser's house tonight, and a couple of his buddies are gonna be there. Do you want to come?" Hell yeah, I want to come. We're gonna be drinking. This is in my drinking and hell raising days.
How old are you about this time?
20.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, this is a dangerous time.
Yes,
This
I can
is
only
a
imagine.
this is a dangerous time in my life. Like,
Because I have to assume that you've always been you, but you're just toned down a little bit.
yeah.
So
Well,
this would have been you at like maybe 11, and right now maybe we're getting you at like an 8, maybe a 7
for
on the
like right
knob.
now in 2025.
Yeah.
Oh, sevens. Yeah, six. I'm at a
Okay.
six right now. This was yeah, I had something to prove. I wanted to burn the world down and
Yeah.
I wanted to
And,
fight the biggest guy and I wanted to date the
yeah.
prettiest
And
woman.
everyone was gonna laugh, and everyone was
Everyone
gonna
everyone was gonna laugh. Women were gonna weep when I left the room. Men were
dudes
gonna
are
tell
gonna
stories,
say, yeah,
pump their fist.
the hero, the hero.
I was on a world tour at this point. Um, whew. Um, and I came there with the ammunition. Anyway, my dad was a bandito, and he was not dead at this point, but he was out of prison, and he had moved in with my mom and moved out. Anyway, my dad was alive at this point, but my dad was a retired bandito, and banditos and don't always get along. I don't know if they're beefing, but they don't always get along. Anyway, we go to this barbecue at the hairdresser's house. Um, lots of dudes around there,
Is it like
and
is it like what's the environment? Is it a
it's a
fancy
neighborhood.
house?
No, it's a
Okay.
neighborhood. Newport News and like Hampton, there's a lot of old homes. A lot of these neighborhoods, and I think because of like zoning stuff, there's not a lot of new construction there either. It's like 50s, 60s, 70s home. There's a lot of homes with like peanut oil tanks. Peanut oil was a big way for them to is an older way that homes had heat back in the day.
Okay.
And it's common to see homes with peanut oil tanks versus, normal HVAC systems. Uh, nice homes, like, beautiful homes. I come to find out that night we're eating dry rub barbecue, we're drinking Bud Heavies, and we're taking shots of tequila. The hairdresser was really, really proud of this brand new sofa set that he had, like an L-shaped sofa, and coffee table. Yeah, there was an L-shaped sofa and a coffee table. He had just gotten them. He was like, "Hey, check it out! Like nice suede, right? Beautiful."
If I was if I was interviewing you, if I was interrogating you, I would ask a follow-up question
Do
right
it.
here. Or if this was tell me about the coffee table, Clayton.
Okay. I get drunk this night, and I'm hanging out. I'm also ripping Marlboro Reds at this time. I'm drinking Bud Heavies, ripping Marlboro Reds. We're taking shots of tequila. I get drunk this night, but I don't get blackout drunk. I didn't think. I think someone I think someone slipped me something, and I think
Did
it was
someone
because
repeat?
I think someone slipped me something, and I think it was because I
Of
was
course
talking
they
about
did.
my dad at being a bandito. And I was being a cocky shit. I was like one up in everybody's story. I was winking at all the old ladies around there, and
Yeah,
uh,
just being cute, being hilarious, being the
yeah.
hero.
Um, well, some point I'm sitting on this brand new lovely couch right by the coffee table, and I start feeling myself fading. I remember this. I have five Budweisers and like three or four shots of tequila. So drunk, but not blackout drunk, right? Like you're definitely dizzy and you might be dancing a little extra and laughing and high fiving, but not
Yeah.
blackout drunk.
Are you telling people that you love them?
Yes, yes, yes. Slapping guys on the back, slapping them on their colors. Boom, like hard. I want to hear an echo in your ribs. That kind of slap.
But I mean, are you the level of drunk where you're telling people, "I love you, man. I love
Yeah.
you." Okay.
No, no.
No, okay.
Just because that's not this vibe. That's not
Well,
this vibe.
but would you if you were like at a party?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
that's a specific that's a type of drunk. That's a level of drunk.
I
When
want to lean in real close and put my arm over your shoulder and say,
yep,
"Hey, let
yeah,
me tell
I
you
would die
something.
for you.
You're the best. You're the best person that I've ever met in my life.
Yes.
When
Yep.
I die, I want you to raise my children. Can you
And
do
then you
that?"
start poking him in the chest. No, I'm
Because
serious.
I'm updating my will tonight. You're
Because
gonna,
I love you. And this is the dude. He's the dude that like you met at a wedding. You know, the dude he just didn't want to dance, so you guys were at the table together. But
yeah,
after about 30 minutes of talking about work and
yeah.
sports, that's
I'm
all it
not.
takes, man.
I'm not lose my badge and gun level at a cop convention. I'm not at that level, but
Yeah.
I am loving you, and I'm making plans. And me and you we're gonna start a business, brother. You know what? We're gonna start that landscaping business because fuck those wives that's telling us we can't.
Listen, this is I know this is probably annoying for people because honestly I detest getting drunk these days.
Yeah,
I've got no
it's
interest in it.
the worst.
Blech. No
Poison.
interest in
It's
it.
literally
Uh,
poison.
did I tell you about the time though when
I'm not
we
done
went up?
telling this Hell's Angel story, but go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry. No. Go ahead, finish. But remind me of I've got a little. I've got something to revert back to. Good.
Okay. I'll hit the gas on it a little bit.
No,
I
you're fine.
start I start fading out on this fella's brand new L-shaped suede couch and table. I'm like, it's fine. I'm gonna go to sleep. They're probably gonna fuck with me. It's okay. They'll make fun of me. I'll wake up and pretend like I'm pissed, but I would do the same thing. I make peace with that and I pass out on the couch. Sometime later, I don't know what time later. Sometime later, it was now very dark. Like it was in the twilight when I was fading, and it is now very dark. I wake up and my the guy who owns the house, his wife is screaming, "You motherfucker! You SOB! You blah, blah, blah." And there's men holding her back. I look around. I look around and I'm on the couch and I'm in a puddles of filth. It's
Yeah.
just filth, just nastiness.
Yeah.
Coffee table's broken, shattered. Like the wooden frame is still there. Is a nice thick like mahogany frame, but the thick glass pane in the middle is just in pieces, big chunk pieces. Don't know. Blackout again. I wake up to this chaos. You blackout again. Come out of my blackout. I'm in the shower in this
How much
lady's.
time?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. I come out of a blackout. I'm in the shower in this lady's house. My buddy Jeff, you know this story. He has his foot on the door. He's holding the door. She's like, boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna kick your ass, you motherfucker. I'm in the shower and there's filth all around me still. My buddy Jeff is like he's poking me with a toilet brush. I think he thinks he's scrubbing me off, but he's just jabbing my abdomen with the toilet brush. Like, ow, ow. Well, she's screaming. I pick up a handful of this.
So I'm sorry. So
Uh,
when you were in and out and she was screaming at Jeff?
no, she's screaming at me because I shit and threw up all over her brand new couch and his
Oh,
new couch. And the husband they had like left on a bike riding thing. They were gone
doing things.
doing Hell's Angel stuff. And so it was just the normal fellas were at the house dealing with this. Code red going on. Like, we have to do something now. Except I'm not in that frame of mind. I'm going in and out of consciousness. Oh, This is the same weekend I had just bought my 92 Camaro. That's going to come into it because I took out a loan for a little bit extra for a new cherry bomb exhaust I wanted to put on it.
Of course.
Of course I did. Um, I throw a handful of it at her as she's screaming at me. Wait, blackout again. Blackout. I wake up at the my buddy Jeff, his friend's house, the common thread, my buddy Jeff's friend who's the hang around. I wake up at his house, splitting migraine, goo 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 goo. My pulse, my brain is beating out of my eyes. My mouth is filled with kitty litter, and it smells like tequila and Budweiser, like in my nose. My nose stings with tequila and Budweiser. I
You
feel
probably
like
taste the cigarettes still.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I burp up cigarette smoke. Um, I felt like I fell down cement stairs, like I'm bruised all over. There's scratches on my back, scratches on my shoulders. It's crazy. I wake up and I pull up in the sheets. I'm wearing women's long johns, like pinkish purple long johns. I was like, oh, that's weird. I'm
Do you know
praying.
where you're at when you wake up?
Yeah, because I've partied at this guy's house before too.
Okay.
I recognize the surrounding. Um, and these folks are like quite a bit older than us, like 20 years older than us at least. Um, anyway, I'm like, hey, do you know where my clothes are? I see the guy, a different guy's wife. I'm like, hey, do you know where my clothes are? She's like, I'm gonna let Jeff explain that to you. I'm like, no, I know it happened. I remember the times coming out of Blackout. I remember those two times, and I remember taking the shots and yada yada. I get in my 92 Camaro. I know that I have to go back to this guy's house. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, I have to go back to this guy's house and I have to face the piper. Like
Oh
that's
wow, that's admirable. Okay.
that's always been my MO with some stories that will never hear the light of day. You know, some like I've always wanted to go back to try to make things right, whether that was wise or not. So in my mind, I'm wearing these pink purple pajamas, no shirt, no shoes. I'm driving my 92 Camaro stick shift, ripping it down the highway. Bah, bah. Go ahead.
Did you consider wearing some of Jeff's clothes?
Jeff wasn't there. It was
Would he
just
have would he have minded if you just borrowed some of his clothes?
no. I didn't even go back to my apartment. My apartment was just like a couple miles down the street. I could have gone back to my apartment, showered, brushed my teeth, got clothes. No.
So the option was there to not show up in pink pajamas,
Hmm.
but you didn't take that any of those options.
Nope.
Okay.
I show up. I if there was like from the movie Footloose, that dance scene where he's like dancing his anger out. That's what I was doing with my Camaro. I was just like there was a music
Like
Rocky
yeah,
montage
like okay.
and and there's tears coming down. I'm like, you did it now. You did it now,
Did
Clayton.
Tom Cruise pass you on his motorcycle?
He could have.
Did
This wasn't even Whiskey Black yet. Whiskey Black had not even been born. This is the stuff Whiskey Black was going to be made out of. This was just pure, raw, 20-year-old. I get off at the exit. I go to this guy's house. I show up. The hairdresser is there. His wife is there. My buddy Jeff and his friend is there. They're in the backyard. I show up in the pink and purple pants, and that guy gets real big. He's like, "You got a lot of balls coming here." I just put my hands up. I was like, "I'm here to make it right." And he was like, "Do you know how much that sofa and that coffee table cost?" I was like, "No, I don't." He was like, "Cost $1,200." I was like, and this was in 2004. $1,200 was a lot, especially for an E3 at the time. That was more than half my month's pay. Yeah, that was damn near a whole month's pay. It was like $300 shy of a whole month's pay for me for E3 in 2004. No BAH or nothing. So I'm like, I don't have $1,200. And he's like, how much money do you have? I was like, well, if I can find my wallet, I got $800 that I was going to spend on a new exhaust. And he holds out his hand like this. I don't know where my wallet is. So we go out in the backyard where all of his couch now is, and they're spraying it off with a water hose and like scrubbing it with a brush and soap, trying to
Yeah.
get this filth out of it.
Yeah.
I find my jeans that are also being sprayed off. I find my jeans and fish out my wallet and hand him $800 in filthy, soaking wet $100 bills. And then I get in my Camaro. Don't help clean up the rest of the party.
Well, not at this point. Yeah,
Not at this.
you've paid your debt to society.
Yeah. And that's the end of the story. Drive off into the sunset. But yeah, I also had a ruining furniture drunken story.
But again, in both scenarios, uh, despite the fact that they make good stories down the road, it's just not fun. You know, like I just don't enjoy drinking
No, it's awful.
to that
It's
level.
awful.
Like it,
No.
like
Hell no.
and waking up and having the headache and the like waking and not sure if you're still drunk or not. Like,
Oh, you're still
like,
drunk.
well, I hate that.
Well, like I shouldn't be driving, but I gotta be at work 10 minutes ago. It's that kind of drunk.
Yeah. Or, I took a shower, so
Uh,
but I'm good, because I took a shower.
I'm definitely not gonna out any names, but in a profession that I used to have, I had someone tell me about how they used to go out all night and then come into work the next morning.
Hmm.
And
Scary.
yep, yep.
Um, so anyway, yeah, some other things that just really annoy me. Do you remember that's what we were talking about?
Yeah, I remember talking about that, but how did we get there?
I don't remember,
Haggis or
but
Scotch?
honestly the journey is
Yeah.
that's the destination.
Yeah, the destination is not the point, it's the journey, my friend.
It's the journey. Yeah. And the friends we made along the way.
Well, I do want to try our new format that we planned on doing, but we're almost
Yeah.
already at 45 minutes and we've only told two stories.
Oh. Um, yeah, so well, with that format, I don't really have anything on my screen that I would share.
I got a couple. Uh, let's just see if any of these
Or
tickle our fancy.
I like having my fancy tickled.
Yeah, you know it. Let's see, how do I? Nope. I
Is
don't want to do reactions. The react button is right underneath the share button. So every time I get up to the share, it's like, do you want to do an emoji? I'm like, no, I don't want to do an emoji.
is March Madness still going on? And if so, are you watching any of it?
So the answer to the first question is I don't know. And
That's the answer to the second question.
second, is my sheen is my screen being shared?
No.
Oh,
I allowed it, but it's not happening.
what'd you think about that
So,
last Garbage Boys? That's pretty good, right?
yeah, that was good. That was fun.
Dude, I listened to it a couple of times. I'm like, man, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just my own ego. It's like it's actually you and Teapot were doing all the heavy lifting. The Jerusalem Post,
Yeah. Go ahead.
what's researchers say they use SAR to find vast city beneath the pyramids. Confirmed.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
something we
wait.
should talk about. Go
So
ahead.
we have in 2025, in March 30th, 2025, we have UFOs is something so mundane it doesn't even make the news.
No, we stopped talking about it.
We stopped talking about
It
UFOs.
doesn't even it's not even in social media anymore.
I've heard that there have been more drones and weather balloons, but it's like back page 6 of newses, like in these local news fairs. There's still been drones and, like I said, weather balloons. The current president had two assassination attempts on his life last year. This year, man, what can you say? It's just a,
Was that in 24?
yeah.
The assassination attempts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I think one
Yeah,
is,
because
yeah.
yeah, because it was in the campaign.
Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah, we had the Green Beret blow himself up outside of Trump Tower on New Year's Day. We had another terrorist attack that no one is talking about, a legitimate or, local domestic terrorist attack on New Year's Day in New Orleans. No one's talking about that anymore. Um, the world is just falling apart. Now there is a city discovered underneath the pyramids. What the fuck? Is there going to be Anunnaki? Is what is down here?
So
What
so what are so are the pyramids then the roofs of these buildings? Is
there
that what's
there was an
happening?
engineer there was an engineer on Joe Rogan a couple years ago that said he thought they were like a reactor, like a power source. He
I've
said
heard
like
that before.
they were laid out like it was like some sort of collector or distributor of power. Um, I don't know. Yeah, they're on top of them. I don't even know if we really know what's inside of them. I don't even know. I don't think this picture is from it. I think this is just a generic picture. Oh no. View of the ancient crypt inside the Great Step Pyramid of Djoser in Cairo. Italian and Scottish researchers claim that, and this is from the Jerusalem Post, claim they found a major discovery beneath the pyramids of Giza, potentially rewriting the history of ancient Egypt. Yeah, I'd fucking say it does. So
Well, it
what
at
are they?
least
What are they
causes
going to
a
say that
bunch.
the Jewish slaves built this? Are we still sticking with that with the Exodus story?
I mean
Doesn't this
the
rewrite the Bible? Wouldn't we
uh
mention it? Wouldn't it have mentioned it?
well, I don't know because the I mean pyramids aren't. What do you mean? Would they have mentioned it? Would the Bible have mentioned it? Bible doesn't
Well,
mention any of it.
yeah, I guess that's true. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Maybe I'm just leaning on my Prince of Egypt knowledge versus the actual Book of Exodus knowledge.
I don't. It's weird because as dumb as it sounds, the fact if it's just a pyramid, like there's no explanation for it, it's just a pyramid, then it's kind of like
Well,
mysterious.
they said the original explanation is that it was a burial tomb for ancient kings, right? That's what they
Right.
used to say. But
Right.
there was only one king ever discovered in the pyramid, and there's actually a whole city called sorry.
Hmm.
There's a whole city called the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, which is where all the kings are buried. They're not buried in pyramids. Like the pyramids were, it makes no sense for them to be burial mounds. And then, besides, just as a monument of greatness for that pharaoh. That's like I think the modern theory of these pyramids. Like King Ramses wanted to build this to be the greatest pharaoh of all, and his sons tried to build them, and they progressively got worse and worse to where they just stopped building them. Alternative history scholars and researchers have said different for years and have been mocked. But I'm just real curious. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just trying to think of how that is sophisticated. I mean, as bizarre as the pyramids were and how they would have built them with their technology. Now you've got something so much more sophisticated, but at least it kind of makes sense. Like oh well, there's a city and it has to do with the city. Well, that makes sense.
Did you see the see that's something they mentioned in here too, which is BS. It says that like this is actually common. The Mayans and the Aztecs built pyramids on top of caves that went down deep into the earth. Well, this isn't a cave. Did you see the images of the like spherical or the tube staircases, shafts that go
Oh no,
down? It
no.
I want to see if I can find it. It's there's like these shafts that go down 12 or 2100 feet. So like 600 meters, I want to say. It wasn't a cave. It was these solid, almost looked like missile silos from out in Kansas. like these giant tubes, like four of them per pyramid, going down 2,100 feet to this giant structure that looks like a city, like this giant tube. They can't even see how far it actually goes. Like with this SAR, they don't know how
Oh
far it
wow.
goes.
And so they just discovered that?
Yes. Well, they just made it public that they discovered it.
Okay.
And uh, a lot of folks were always drawn to the pyramids like as sources of power or like mythological. Yeah, this is what I saw. And this is from the Daily Mail, which is a pretty bona fide publication. Do you see these tubes that I'm talking
Okay,
about?
so yeah. And
Inside,
those go
man, I
ahead.
wish I could blow this up. So this is the pyramid on top of it.
Right.
And inside the pyramid, there's like these little homes that they just discovered. There's
Okay.
these little homes inside of it, and these little
Have
homes, go ahead.
have they've never been inside the pyramids before?
They haven't been in this part. They just discovered it
But
with this
I mean
SAR.
the homes. But so like the homes on the inside the pyramid part, they've never been in there before?
No, that's all
Okay.
brand new discovery.
Huh. Okay. And so then they find the cylinders
And
leading
this
down.
to this big structure down here, and they can't see the bottom of it. They just know it's huge and solid.
Okay.
Like like this is the size of the pyramid on top of it in proportion with this giant structure that they can't measure it. And look over here, like this is in proportion to how big the pyramids are. They're ginormous. This structure
Okay.
is bigger than that. This is the size of a city, at
Yeah.
least.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, next, this was another image. Man, I wish I could open it up to the source. Oh, I can. You even more confident as vast city exists under Giza pyramids in Egypt. And this is from March 27th, 2025, from the Daily Mail, UK.UK.
Go up just a little bit. Is that if true, it would turn Egyptian and human history on its head through independent. What exactly would it turn on its head, though? Like, I mean, it's awesome. It's really cool that they found it, but what
I
does
think
it change about history as we know it?
I think just well, first and foremost, what ancient people were capable of. Because Graham Hancock and some other like alternative historians think that the pyramids are older than this, but contemporary history has them at like 5,000 years, 5,000 years old. The pyramids of
Really?
Giza, the oldest ones at 5,000 years old.
Is that
5,000.
recent? I always thought that we thought that they were like hundreds of thousands. I thought it was just the young creationists that thought it
Okay.
was 6,000.
Okay. So the Egyptians, like their own history that's on these things, say that they've been around for hundreds of thousands of years, or
Okay.
for like 30,000 years. I think is like the is they can track a continuous line of pharaohs back like 30,000 years. The pyramids say that, and they say they got this technology from people before them, like the people on that wrote on the inside the pyramids. The hieroglyphs say that they got this from people before them, but modern archaeologists that know more than the people who built it say no, it's only 5,000 years old. The oldest it could be is 5,000, and these are 50-ton blocks from a quarry 500 miles away. So 5,000 years ago, you used slaves. That's the biblical theory. It's probably not slaves, probably pretty well fed and pretty well paid skilled workers to carve these stones, 50-ton stones, and move them from a quarry 500 miles away and lay
50
them
tons 50 tons would be,
100,000 pounds.
and they're moving it how far?
500 miles. No, 500 kilometers. 500 kilometers. A kilometer is 1,000 meters.
That means nothing to me.
Um, about 1,500 kilometers in a mile, or no, 1,500 meters in a mile. Anyway, um, hundreds of miles, like 300 miles or more
Wow.
by by human horsepower is by the way, because we don't think that they had cranes. We don't have, that's another thing. We don't have any technology today that could build these pyramids. We don't have any machines, the cranes in Newport News, Virginia, and all the dry docks, much
Well,
less move it hundreds of miles from one quarry, carve it out of a solid block. How big are these blocks that they're carving it out of? And then move it. And the pyramids are made out of hundreds of these blocks.
what are the possible explanations?
Well, so I don't know. I've I have a bunch. I've heard a bunch of fun stuff, like on Art Bell on Coast to Coast AM.
Oh
Did you ever
yeah.
listen to him?
Oh
I
yeah.
heard a.
Overnights.
Oh yeah, I heard a guy on there talk about moving stuff with sound, and that's actually been a. I've heard that theory thrown out by a couple of different sources, but I mean the truth is we have no idea. We don't know how they did it. We can't do it today in 2025. We don't. We're just now discovering. We're just now getting more clues to what this even was. What this really is saying is that we have no fucking idea about our past.
Could they have? I wonder if they could have used water. Like if they could have,
Yeah,
if there could have been a channel or something.
but how are you going to float a 50-ton stone?
Well, witchcraft is probably your best bet. But if you don't have any witches on hand,
I've heard
um,
a theory that they like flooded it with sand, and that's actually why the Sphinx was partially buried, like it was buried on purpose. They knew how to like move mountains of sand, and they could potentially like that's actually I think close to one of the modern interpretations of how they built it. But like they layered it with sand to move on top because you can't lift these blocks. You can only
yeah,
move it surface level. So they just changed the height of the surface to move these blocks in there. Um,
yeah.
Still, how are you moving a mountain of sand? Like, okay, okay, sure, you do that. How? How are you doing that? You just
Yeah,
getting a bunch of people with brooms and sweeping it over there?
yeah.
What?
I mean, because I mean, it seems like it would take generations
Of course.
to, so, so that would
Unless
like
you
it
had a
would.
spaceship that could pick these things up and move them.
I mean, that was an option before they found there were vast cities. Well, now it's got to be connected to the cities, so it's got to be human. So it can
Well,
no longer be spaceships.
but there are spaceships around. Spaceships are so common nowadays. Unidentified UAPs are so
Yeah,
common nowadays
yeah.
that they don't even make the news.
But that's a whole
But
different
I think it
wing.
could be. Maybe
Go
you've
ahead.
never heard of a little story on History Channel called Ancient Aliens, my friend. But
Funny thing is, I've never watched a single episode. I
that,
see I see the option,
yeah,
on various platforms, but never watched it.
that was one of Joe Rogan's first guests that wasn't a comedian. That was like around the time I started, stupid stuff. I started listening to Joe Rogan like at episode 70 back in 2010.
Yeah.
And like a couple months after that is when he had George Tsoukalos on, the host of Ancient Aliens. Why does stupid stuff stay in my brain? I can't remember where I keep my car keys, but I can remember the podcast guest from 12 years ago, 13,
Yeah, but
15 years ago.
you also remember important stuff. Just not maybe not everyday practical stuff, but you're a wealth of knowledge.
Four four U.S. Army soldiers from the 3rd Infantry go missing during on a training exercise in Lithuania. Do you know where Lithuania is?
I know it's in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, yep. It's above Ukraine, right on the border of Russia. I guess I just of note because we're still dangerously close to World War III. Like
What? Yeah.
as much as we thought Trump was going to come in and save the day, and I was really hoping he would. Um, I think these guys were probably captured by Russians.
You think so?
If yeah, and probably a scapegoat. Like they probably weren't wearing a Russian uniform, but definitely by agents working for Russia.
So what do you think? First off, what's the story? I haven't heard anything about it.
They're on a training exercise. They're on this big long convoy. At some time passes, and they realize a vehicle's missing. Okay,
How do
the
those like so what would that be though for non-military people? Like they would have come from a nearby
base.
fob and they
Yeah,
would
well,
have
this is supposed to be a training exercise, from what I've read. Um, a 70-ton vehicle from a swamp. There was a 70-ton vehicle that these guys were in, probably a big MRAP or a big like some type of heavy vehicle. And they come back. So the convoy is going down on this little training exercise. They realize this vehicle's missing. They halt, go back and retrace, can't find them.
how
Uh,
many vehicles would be in a convoy?
I'm sure that information is out here, but it depends. It can be any from two or three to 60 or 100 or
Okay.
more.
Okay.
Like it's just two or more, I think, is a convoy.
Okay.
Maybe technically three. I don't know.
Do they normally, when I think of a convoy, I think of, I see the taillights of the person in front of me and the headlights of the person behind me. Is
Yeah.
that is that how the
Yeah.
military convoy would go?
Like we're rolling up on a SWAT, like we're rolling up to assist SWAT on a SWAT call. Like
Okay.
everybody nut to butt until you get there and then spread out.
Okay.
Um, that's what this is. And so an M88 Hercules armored vehicle, I have no idea what that is, but it sounds heavy. How much did they say it was? 70 tons. Yeah. Um, Soldiers are still missing. They don't know where the soldiers are. They just found the vehicle buried in a, or not buried, submerged in a swamp. Seems fishy to me. I don't know enough of the
But
details to say anything, but I think they were captured by Russians, probably.
I wonder if they got stuck in the swamp and tried to escape and drown.
Very easily could have happened. Why would they drive their vehicle into a swamp?
Well, if it's I don't know if it's
Why wouldn't they
dark
get
or if
out of it whenever they realize that they're sinking? They got a turret. Every military vehicle has a turret up top. It would be a panic, but you could get out of it if you find
I don't know.
yourself sinking.
People drown when they shouldn't. Uh,
Yeah.
if you find yourself in a car in a submerged car, you should get out as soon as possible. Um,
It yeah.
yeah,
It
I don't
it
know.
it raises a lot of attention of why we're doing these giant convoy military exercises on the border of Russia during this Ukraine conflict when the
Yeah,
peace deals are by all appearances falling apart. Like the peace,
is
all this ceasefire stuff are kind of coming to an end, it seems like.
isn't that aren't we doing that just to kind of flex our muscle or just be like, hey, we're here kind of thing?
Yeah, but if I am, I have literally bled and fought for this country. I am a patriot. But if there's a characteristic that I think is not good for our PR, it's flexing on other world superpowers. Especially when
Well,
we don't we want to be de-escalating this thing?
I'll tell you something else that's not good is if you're flexing and you get punched in the face. If in fact they took three soldiers,
For
for that's not a good look either.
no,
Uh,
no.
so yeah, I had seen that or I'd heard that the talks were falling apart and all that, but I haven't kept up on it recently. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? What's the prognosis here?
You know, who really knows? But I think what I mean it could be World War III. I mean, the Israel Hamas thing it seems like is on a border, and if it's not Hamas, next is going to be the Houthis for some reason. We're starting a fight with Yemen, or not with Yemen officially, but just with the people of Yemen, the Houthis.
Yeah.
Which yeah, sure is a terrorist group, but okay. we ran, or you ran on this, and we voted for the promise of no more wars. That was literally a campaign slogan. No more wars.
Man, I was this is a real rabbit trail. I was having coffee with a buddy the other day, and I had the thought that see if I can remember how it went down. So if war is good for the economy, right?
Hmm.
Is war always good for the economy generally?
No, no, I don't think it is anymore. I think it's
Okay,
only
but
good for like the 1% of the economy.
okay. Because
It was historically.
what I was wondering is, if war is good for the economy and if people vote for the economy, in essence, do we not necessarily all vote for war? Like, do we naturally vote for?
No, because there are other things besides war that makes the good economy.
Well,
For
yeah,
instance, for instance, stopping this global um, trend that we're doing of depending on the world for everything, where we can't make anything anymore inside the United States, and we're a strictly consumer dependent welfare society. If we change courses from that and bring manufacturing back to the United States, bring our own production, we create jobs and we create American revenue. We actually keep our money and we keep our products. Um, we don't have to worry about the Straits of Hormuz, and we don't have to worry about the Gulf of Yemen, and we don't have the Gulf of Oman off the coast of Yemen. We don't have to worry about the Houthis that don't want us there. We got our own oil.
why why are we even why are the Houthis on our radar?
Oh, they bombed us. An Iranian proxy. They're
Where did
an
they bomb
Iranian.
us?
They've hit our fleet. Well, they've shot thousands of missiles at our fleet in the Mediterranean,
Really?
or maybe in the Gulf. Sorry. Yeah,
Is
in the
this
Gulf.
is would this be considered like a is it part of the government or is it just like a radical
This is
militia group?
this is a militant group. I think Yemen is a very unstable country anyway. So, like, the reason that these international terror organizations can exist in Yemen is because Yemen doesn't have it going on enough to stop it. Like
Okay.
Yemen is the kind of place where the Houthis can exist. That
Yemen is kind of like the slums where random street gangs can operate at will.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's Yemen.
Okay.
So, in the Houthis, like I said, in particular,
And
are
so
a
and
militant
so
group of Iran.
because this is how my brain works. Okay, so let's say that let's say that Yemen is like a bad part of Baltimore, right? Where just
Hmm.
anything goes. It's
The
people
Wire.
run amok, they do their thing, uh, and there's you got a DEA van
Uh-huh.
is parked nearby, and the gangster disciples over here are constantly harassing the DEA van, and they're throwing rocks
Yeah.
and whatever, like
Yeah. Get the fuck out of our
whatever,
neighborhood.
right? Dangerous stuff, like not the missiles could like it could be fatal, but however, I'm not sure how to. I don't
Yeah,
even
sure.
understand that.
Yeah, like
But
bricks, maybe. Yeah.
so in essence, now we're talking about going to war with the gangster disciples who happen to be in Baltimore.
And also happened to be, we know, it's kind of like public information that they're funded and controlled by Iran. My fear is that my fear is that in my okay, so this is the conspiracy kooky theory, and there's lots of trains that back this up. The U.S. is the basically hired gun for Israel and for BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Israel wants has been wanting us to get rid of the leadership in Iran for decades. Has been wanting us to get rid of
What
the leadership in Iran.
what do we get for everything we give Israel,
The politicians get
other
millions
than the
and millions.
blessings of the Lord?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we get to
Uh,
hurry the coming of because as soon as Israel can defeat all of the evil Muslims in the Middle East, the Lord is going to come because that's going to prompt the Armageddon for evangelical side. Really, APEC is the number one contributor and has been since JFK of political donations. They literally
so money.
buy our politicians. Yeah,
Okay.
every one of them, including Donald Trump, because
And
Donald
how
Trump is doing the same exact thing.
and how does where does Israel come across all this money? How are they able to buy our politicians?
Woo! That's a topic for another conversation, my friend. Um, yeah, they got money. Well, I
It's
mean,
just I mean
they can.
I don't mean to be whatever. I'm just like they just
Well,
got
and
access to a lot of
also,
money.
money is ones and zeros today anyway. Like I've said before, it's not about money as
Yeah.
much as it is the power. They
Yeah.
give a
Yeah.
bunch of
Yeah.
ones and zeros to these politicians so they got something over them. Because you know what? Epstein was long thought to be an intelligence agent. Giselle Maxwell's father was Israel agent, like a public, like up to the point where he was a head of agency. Giselle Maxwell's father.
Yeah.
Um, that so on top of buying them, they can blackmail them. They do all of the things. And I'm not saying that is the state of Israel. It's just like saying I don't think the CIA smuggled in crack cocaine into LA. Agents of the CIA definitely smuggled in crack cocaine into LA.
Right.
Documented lots of ways. We can go into that on another one. Just like MK Ultra
Yeah.
definitely happened. I don't think the president, maybe he did. I don't think the president said, "Hey, I want you to go drug dudes and torture them and do all this traumatic stuff to Americans." I think it more the idea of like, "Hey, we need to get going on this. You guys do
Yeah.
whatever you do."
Yeah. Yeah. Don't tell me about it.
Exactly. I think that's how a lot of this stuff comes out or
Yeah.
snowballs.
So what's this here?
U.S. Navy is preparing to announce the company that will develop and manufacture its future fighter and attack aircraft. Why this is real noteworthy to me is this is another sign of the apocalypse and another sign of Armageddon coming. This thing is built with the intention to eventually have no pilot. They already have no
Yeah.
pilot prototypes. So it's going to be completely automated by AI, not by a pilot in Las Vegas like the drones. This bad boy is going to fly itself. And this bad boy is going to do the bidding of the United States on its own. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of checks and, buttons we can put in safe, and hopefully there's
Sure.
lots of keys. But this is the first generation of the T-1000 we're looking at right here.
Huh.
Because I was in the Navy when the Navy got the F-35, the Air Force got the F-22. I remember John McCain. I was at VFA 106 in 2007. John McCain was had just lost to Obama or was losing to Obama around that time, and uh, he championed the F-35 for the Navy. John McCain was a Navy fighter pilot. He
Hmm.
championed the F-35. It was supposed to cost, I remember, it was supposed to cost 25 million per aircraft, which was cheaper than the F-18s at the time. The F-18s were traditionally 18, but at that time were right at I think like 25 million. They were on par with the F-18s. That was its big selling point. It's such an advanced aircraft, but it's just as cheap as the F-18s. Just a couple years later, it doubled its price. Or no, multiple of 10 its price. It was 250 million per aircraft. An F-18 was still 25 million, and the F-35 quickly jumped to 250 million. I They're canceling the program. They've had a couple squadrons of them. I think there might be some active squadrons of them now, but obviously the Navy is already shifting to replace it.
Hmm.
So another example of our tax dollars doing a fantastic job. The F-35s didn't do hardly anything during Iraq. I don't think they were fielded during Iraq. They maybe touched the tail end of Afghanistan, but we've had no return on our investment for the F-35s billions of dollars, and the shareholders of Lockheed Martin made a pretty penny.
They've got something to show for it.
They've
They've
got
got some
something to
nice
show.
homes and boats. Uh, what? But I'm a little surprised though. Why is the future not? Why are we not just completely on drones?
This is a drone.
Well,
This is a Mach 5 drone
oh, okay. So, I mean, is that not the future of just like why are we not there already? I
of
wonder.
warfare. I mean, Ukraine is drones are terrifying. Ukraine
Yeah,
is the forefront for drones. Russia, China, Iran, they've like I said, they've been stealing our technology for decades and they're doing more stuff with it. They're testing it on the battlefield of Ukraine. They're testing it on the battlefield of the Mediterranean Sea and the Gulf of Ormuz with the Houthis. They're using drones in them attacks too on U.S. warships. Like
Hmm.
it's a brave new world. We got cities underneath the pyramids. We got soldiers disappearing. It's the
UFOs
end
are
times.
real.
UFOs are real and no one talks about it.
Nobody
Presidents are
talks
getting
about it anymore.
shot at.
Did we find did they
Are we buying
confirm
Greenland?
aliens? Did they confirm aliens or no?
Do you think
Just
it would
just
do you think it would make it would definitely make the news, but how long would we talk about it?
well, I
Because
feel like
literally we have UFOs and we have a city underneath the pyramids.
did didn't
And
I thought we were talking about having recovered an alien body, but it
sure,
wasn't for very long. I don't know.
sure, they've been talking
Um,
about that for decades. During the congressional hearing, that whistleblower said that I think he said all he was allowed to say is that there was Earthling
yeah,
organic matter recovered.
yeah, and we stopped talking about it.
The end.
And I get it. Like you can't talk about everything, but uh,
Sure.
maybe
But like there should be a priority. Like, hey, can we keep talking about this for a minute until we get figured out where these things are coming from? What they can do? Who's
I
controlling it? Do we
don't
know whose these are?
I don't know because the news is only half an hour long. Well, that's not true. Nobody watches the news anymore. Um, but it's not that somebody's like, hey, you can't talk about this anymore. It's just people lose their interest in it.
Well,
We've got such a short attention span.
I pulled up these. I didn't even pull up these news articles today. Like these are things that I saved on my phone throughout the week. I'm sure if I open up my phone and go through the news app, there's already more interesting things we can talk about. The news cycle just keeps
Yeah,
on going.
yeah. And so I don't know. Yeah. Uh,
But like I was saying before, we've talked about on here. Do you want to have? Do we want to keep racing toward the next atom bomb? Like it's either we're gonna do it or they're gonna do it. Like I get it, sure, but do we have to keep the behavior? Like, can we all agree to change directions? Well, they're not going to if we do. Well, let's try it. Let's see. Can we change
I
directions?
mean, whoever. I mean, if we're gonna get nuked, I don't guess it matters who pushes the button.
Right. And how about let's chase that theory to its end. If we don't do it, they're going to do it. Okay, well then how about what another option in this world that you're creating is for us to withdraw all of our military into the borders of the United States and make like we can still have international trade and we still have all these international treaties and God bless the world. But how about just our military, the threat of AI T-1000? How about we just pull that inside the borders of the United States and our coastal waters, and if we put our concentration there, I bet we could stop anything China or Russia or Canada or any other superpower could come up with. If we made something like this to just protect the US border and the US people, I mean, it would still give me the creeps, but I think it's better than using it as a geopolitical world-changing tool.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to be the military, the police of the world. We can in 2025, even if it's not us, it's them. Let them do it. Let China be the police. We can fuck China up. China doesn't have anything on us. Maybe with
Yeah.
AI and technology, that might be a different thing. But on the battlefield, hell no. You see what Ukraine's doing to Russia? You imagine
Well,
what the 75th Ranger Regiment would do to China?
I don't I don't think that the US is doing anything to be, and I don't think that we ever have done anything that wasn't in our best interest, or not our best interest, but in our own interest. So when we get
Definitely.
involved, yeah, so when we get involved in all of
Definitely.
these different things around the world, I
It's in
used to
someone's
think,
interest.
yeah, I used to think it was because we had, you know, noble intentions, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that maybe it's to do with regime changes, or maybe it's to do with destabilizing the country or something like that. I don't
So,
think
like
it's
with,
good.
yeah, with exactly what you're saying. With Yemen specifically, the only reason we're interested in bombing the Houthis is because it doesn't even mess with our oil routes. It messes with other international oil routes. You know what that means? Other people, I don't want to keep, I don't want to offend other countries that happen to be in the area that are threatened by the Houthis. Their oil routes are who we're protecting right now.
Yeah,
This doesn't even affect us. The only reason
yeah,
they're shooting at our ships is because our ships are there. The only reason our ships are there is to stabilize the area. The only reason we're
yeah,
stabilizing the area is because you know who keeps picking a fight with everyone on this fucking block, and we got to come in and settle it.
yeah. So at some point, someone's gonna say, "Hey, knock that shit off, man."
Yes,
I'm
and we're not going to be your guy anymore. We don't want to be your
Yeah,
gun.
we're tired. We're tired, man. We're done with that. We're out of the
We're
life.
people are starting to catch on.
Yeah,
Remember when you
we're
killed a president? Wait.
uh, yeah. As far as aliens go, I'm really interested in the concept of them coming from the sea instead of space. I
Hmm.
saw a video the other day of an octopus slithering down a hole, and it was just so weird and alien-like that
Yeah.
I'd never considered it before. Like, that makes a lot of sense. Uh, that still, I mean, it almost seems like there would be two different types, like an alien from above and below. I don't know.
All
Uh,
sorts. Well,
yeah,
they say that there's different types of, like, the conspiracy theories that have been around forever have said that there's like the Greys and the lizard people and the Nords, like the tall whites. They say there's a bunch of different. There has been.
yeah. I wonder how many of our theories are just way off. You
I'm
know what I
sure
mean? Like,
most of them.
you
Well, and
think?
even if you're close, because you're never going to know. It's like guessing about the past. It's like us, because they're never going to disclose it. Like, even with this JFK stuff, all this stuff that's being released, Trump saying release everything you have on JFK. You mean everything we didn't destroy and everything that these bodies buried in the desert can't say because we never let them put anything on recording? No, we're not going to get rid of that stuff. You're going to get the shitty scan documents that no one's going to read.
Yeah,
That's us reconstructing the past. We know us reconstructing the past is flawed because we can never really know what these pyramids are, obviously. Um,
right.
it's the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing
It's not like there's somebody who knows and they're just keeping it a secret.
until a time machine comes, we're never gonna really know. It's all
Right.
best guess. The same for all these, like all of these nefarious conspiracy theories, is like the aliens. You're never gonna know. You're never gonna really know. I guess I don't know how to.
Until
Until you're
yeah, I
reconnected with the
think
source, brother. Until,
you think
and,
you
yeah.
do you think, or do you think that they're going to reveal themselves and it's going to be like, ah, so you're the aliens, like, or do you think that what we've got is all we're going to get, like our current knowledge, our current experience,
Oh no.
still within this life, or do you think
Oh,
that they're going
well, until we die, we're not gonna know. I think whenever we cross the Jordan and we're reconnect with the source, I think we are
Over
gonna,
yonder,
yeah. Until we cross over yonder, I think we
River
will
Jordan.
be connected with the source and all knowing. But
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
gonna be trivial. That's gonna
but
be the.
but but you're saying like with aliens, I've kind of been looking forward to, so now we've been seeing UFOs or people they've been exposing. So now I've been hoping that maybe the aliens would start coming around a little bit more, and maybe we'd see a little bit more of them. But
Yeah, but
you don't think so?
well, I don't. I just don't know what to believe, because I know that there's misinformation. I
Yeah,
know. Like the biggest thing I would be trying to do if I was in charge of not trying to let everyone of trying to keep this maintained is I'd be like, okay, we need to control what these people see, and if we can't control what they see, we need to control what they believe. They have unlimited source to this UFO stuff. We need to throw in some misinformation in there to get them to doubt it. We need to have decades of misinformation even to where
yeah,
eventually, whenever this does come out, it makes page six. And they've done a pretty
yeah.
good job. We're never going to know until you put your hand on it. Until you put your hand on it and Justin sees this, not on a screen, but in his eyes, you're never going to know. Not really.
Is how terrifying is it to you personally to know that? Well, let me reframe it. How much? What percent do you think of who you are, what you believe, what you know, well, like what you know as a fact, has been tainted by the CIA and or its affiliates?
Oh, dude. Well, so hopefully, I don't think any of these people are as powerful as they believe they are, or as powerful. They're definitely not as powerful as we give them credit in some ways, but they are. I think they've touched everything. I think since Jesus's day, or maybe even before that, probably since Moses's day, or the Babylonian, definitely since Alexander the Great. Actually, confirmed since Alexander the Great. History has been written by the victors.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
authority always controls what the story is. And if they don't, they're willing to genocide a whole big group of people to keep that story what they say it is. And ever since then, you never really know. I mean, I know that it seems
No,
like
that's a good point.
it's a big
That's
stretch.
a no, that's a really good point.
Yeah, you never
That
really know.
you'll always you so propaganda
Uh-huh.
will always that's human nature.
And so definitely since the 40s, since the OSS, the CIA has affected Western evangelical Christianity, has infected the Food and Drug Administration as far as the diet, big corporations, has affected the military industrial complex, which has been
It,
a part of Ford, GM, Dodge, all these Cessna, Textron, all these things that keep America afloat has been built and
ed,
established by the Department of Education, the healthcare system.
education. That's one of the ones that's well, I mean, they're all terrifying to
Rockefellers,
me,
dude.
but the
Rockefellers.
education, like how I wonder how much of what we know, quote unquote, know is because of somebody greasing somebody's palm or somebody
It,
pushing a special interest.
so for decades, since I've been alive, I've heard the like National Geographic version of the pyramids. And in the last 10, 15 years, I've heard these cool alternate theories about the pyramids. Well, the National Geographic archaeologists always dismiss these alternate theory alternate theories like children. Like, you're an idiot. There's no underground people. Are you like literally have mocked them, ruined careers? People have put up theories about this, driven people insane. Well, now we know that we don't know. That's what we really know, is that we have no fucking
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
And that everything they've said in the past, they just made up. They didn't know. They did
yeah,
not know. They had good guesses, hypothesizes,
yeah. Yeah.
hypotheses.
Well, I don't know. I mean, so you've got that, but then for me, and I think for you too, you've got the added layer of not only what did what do we think we know that's just actually just like factually false, but
Yeah.
we believe it because of the government. Then
Dude, last 4 years.
the other layer is religion.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
and this is a really good example of why, like, consider people don't change. Human nature doesn't change. And
Right.
if this is what the government is doing now to control what people think, right? Or to
Hmm.
control, to keep people under control, what would King James have, what would he have wanted to do?
Well, we know what he did.
Control, baby.
Yeah.
keep these, keep these people under control.
To
So,
the to the point where he had these monks rewrite the or write the Bible, translate it into English, and he said, "If this isn't the way that I like it, I will kill you."
yeah,
And
wink, wink. Okay. And so then let's go, go back a while. Do you think kingdoms before, like, do you think clearly religion has been used to control people since its inception?
conception. The Old Testament is based on a theocracy.
So how much of what we think is true is just based on what like and
Another person wants you to know. It's always what another person, it's not the truth, it's what another person says is the truth. And you can
yeah.
never know. You can never know.
Okay, so you can only experience so many things, and so you can't say that you got to experience it necessarily.
Right.
I guess that you just have to trust. Like, I've never shot myself in the leg, so I have to trust that it hurts. Um, and I've known people that have, and they said it hurts, and so I trust their report. Uh, so
I've
yeah,
seen
I
the
mean,
pictures.
I guess that's not to say that you have to experience every pain to
Yeah.
know that every pain exists,
I
but it
mean,
is
I
interesting.
can't make a light bulb. There has to be some level of trust, right? Like I can't build a computer. We're operating on the internet, and I actually can explain at least like an elementary level of how the internet works. But even then, not I can't
I can't.
program this stuff.
All I
You know what
know
I
is it's
mean?
got a lot of bing bong bong bing bing
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
bing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Lots
Um,
lots of those. Really fast though.
I bet everyone loved listening to that just then.
I'll bet they knew exactly what we were talking about.
Of course they did. But I'm saying, like, there does have to be a level of trust, but just know that you're putting your trust in someone else's hands. And be honest with yourself to recognize when you're being deceived, especially when it's like, I'm not saying
Um,
you have to
that's
know,
that's
like,
hard. That's
but
hard
what
because
if,
that's
but what if
dude.
something's right in your face? Like, what if he literally does a Nazi salute on TV? I mean,
But that's hard, man. I don't think he
that's a
did, by the
joke.
way.
I know. That's a joke. That's a joke.
But
But what if they get caught texting on Signal with an editor in the chat room?
I don't know.
Like, really? You guys are using Signal?
Really? Um,
The vice president?
I don't remember what I was gonna say. Proceed.
No, I mean, I think we're at a wind down time now, but it's always just take it with a grain of salt. And I think it's a good time. All of this stuff. I think what we're really trying to say, the moral of the story, folks, is think for yourself. Question. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a skeptic on everything, but question. Work out work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. See, see. Just see if this stuff feels right. If it does, go about your merry way. And I know most people don't have time to look into this. Most people haven't made it this far in the podcast because they got other shit to do. I'll make some
Yeah.
shorts of this so they can
This
see
is
it
a
anyway.
how many 3 second intervals would they have had to make it through to stay with this
Mm,
far? That's a bunch of them.
yeah, a lot.
They're if they made it this far, they're ride
Well,
or die.
I need to put Teapot's face on the thumbnail of this because those always get longer listening times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
Unless
minute 30. They get minute 30s.
Do you suppose he's the most handsome of the three of us?
He has, I mean, he's obviously the smartest. He has to
Is
be. He
okay.
has
So
the charm. He's got
in
the charm, I think.
man, in turn now he's my brother, right? So I've got to
Sure.
obviously I've got to I'm
You
partial
got to
to
keep him in
him.
check. Yeah.
But I also got to I also got to keep him in check. Um, I feel like you're probably a little smarter than he is. I think you're probably smarter than a lot of people. I
So,
think that he's I think that he like I think you're probably more intelligent. He's probably got a little bit more street
wisdom.
smart in him, you might say, a little more wisdom.
Yeah.
But more of the nerd, sorry, Tupac, more of the nerd-ish type of wisdom. Um,
Yes. The responsible type of wisdom.
yeah, yeah. Uh, but regardless, what I'm getting at is why does he get more views just by looking at his face? I wonder if
I
it's
think he
because
has
he's
more friends.
uh, not more
More people
Facebook
like him.
friends.
Well, more
That could
people
be.
like him is what I mean. Yeah.
That could be. That could be.
It's only the
Well, do
people that like you. No.
what you got to do.
Yeah.
Again, I got to say that uh, Facebook thinks that I enjoy Mark Driscoll. I've been getting way too many Mark Driscoll videos,
Yeah.
um, and the problem is you know they always have subtitles, and so I'll see the little 3 second loop or whatever, and I want to be like what, so I'll click it just to see what kind of stupid thing he's about to say, and then I'm hooked, and so like it just keeps
You just
it's
get in a
just a
cycle of like
cycle, man.
hating what he's
Yes,
saying.
yes, 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 yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Um,
there's a guy on my Facebook that I finally got around to hiding today because every time I see him, I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, just shut up. I'm so tired of seeing your stupid face. Uh, so I just, I hit him. You know,
yeah. No, no, I get it. It's
that's the type of, and most people would be like, oh, Justin, he's a chill dude. No, most of the time I'm just silently whispering to myself, shut the fuck up.
yeah. Fucking idiot. Um, that's a weird thing. Yeah, I don't know. There's different types of intelligence, obviously. I have a different type of memory. I think I remember things a little bit differently than some folks. But
Like the facts or what?
I don't know, but like I'll remember this article, but if I study all week for an exam, I mean, if the best I'll do is an 80, or I was a B student, CB student,
I mean, if I'm going to tell you this
DCB.
much, that if ACDC,
Yeah.
CB, if I were, man, this is difficult. So if we were going to play Jeopardy, if I had to send one person to Jeopardy,
I got you.
it would be you. If
I
I was
got
going to
you.
send one person to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it would be my brother.
Teapot.
If you needed something for the people, it would be me. Like
Yeah,
Family
absolutely.
Feud, I got you on Family Feud because I
Oh,
got my finger on the pulse of society, right?
yeah. And I
You
feel like
could,
you know how to read Steve Harvey. You can pick up
yeah,
on the weaknesses of the family across the stage.
yeah. That's what I got. But
You know where to go.
you could probably tell me, you could probably tell me a couple battles that Napoleon was a part of, right? That most people, like if I had to call you, hey Clayton, this is I'm on Justin, I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I need to know what battle did Napoleon die in?
Oh, he didn't. Oh,
Did he
man.
did he die in battle?
I was about to say he didn't. I know he was exiled, but he escaped exile. Have you ever read the book The Count of Monte Cristo?
How do you know this?
Oh. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. You're one of the smartest people I know.
I read that
Uh,
book, The Count of Monte Cristo, on my first deployment, and I also was listening to the
what
POD
do those
CD.
what
And
do
so
those
it,
have anything to do with those sandwiches?
oh, Monte Cristo? I don't know. They're delicious. I think Monte Cristo is just made up. Like the Count of
Uh,
Monte Cristo. It's like such a small place where someone could say, I'm the Count of Monte Cristo, and no one could challenge it because it's such like a
right?
yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, do you mean like that fried sandwich with powdered sugar and jam and ham and cheese?"
I have a funny
Uh,
joke that we'll put on our Patreon sometime. Not on here. The difference between jelly and jam.
merp. um, um, dang it, I lost my train of thought. Well,
Count of Monte Cristo. I read the book.
oh, that's a great movie.
It is a super cool movie. I read the book, The Count of Monte Cristo, on my '04 deployment, and I was listening to POD. Um,
South Sound.
I so feel so
Oh,
alive.
yeah, yeah.
It- um, that album. And I got the one that well, I got that one later, but the one with Modest Yahoo, I got one later. But every time I think of the Count of Monte Cristo, I hear POD. And every time I hear POD, I think of the Count of Monte Cristo. Because for 6 months straight, I read that book like 5 times. Or no.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was listening to POD and reading the Count of Monte Cristo.
nice.
And then I haven't touched that book since then. I was like, get the fuck out of my life.
Did you just do a Nazi salute?
No, I threw something behind me, dude. It's a Roman salute.
Again.
A Roman. I'm pointing
Again.
some.
Oh my
It's my
goodness.
left
What is
hand.
wrong with you?
God, I'm sorry.
Jeez Louise. Just, you know, no.
Oh, um, I feel like actually I feel a little offended by you. Actually, I got a bone to pick with you.
Pick it, motherfucker. Well,
Um,
something's happened. Listen, something has happened in the past 20 minutes where I've gotten just a little bit salty and I don't know where it's
salty.
coming from.
I like
I
it.
apologize. I
Spicy,
apologize for my
Justin.
language. It's
You're
just
gonna need
you
it.
turned me on. Bring it.
Actually, you're gonna need it because we all know in our we all know in our group with me and your brother that I've recently discovered the heaviest and the best heavy metal band of all time. And Tupac has acknowledged it, but you haven't said one word. And
Dude,
you know I'm right. There is not
I'm
a heavier metal band.
I got to tell you, I am
You don't even know what
so
I'm talking about, do you?
I don't. I'm so far behind. I know that you posted something. Somebody posted something about Zach Bryan the other day. I saw that.
That was me.
Um,
And T.
uh, you sent me
I,
something. You sent me something that I listened to that I liked.
I hope that you just
I'm
treat me this way and not the other people in your life because this is pretty sad, you know?
I'm so far behind.
Um,
I'm honestly, and so this is something that I should talk to my counselor about it. Here's what happens in my life, and
okay.
I just want to put this out there
Own it. Lay it on out.
for people that may be affected by this. What happens
Yeah.
is somebody will send a text or some
I'm gonna
kind of
stop sharing.
communication to me. What? Oh yeah,
I'm
I thought you meant like sharing in life, like you were going
no.
to stop sharing your life with me because I don't respond. Um, so your picture's locked up.
Oh, well, I can hear you. You're the only one on the
Oh,
screen for the vid.
oh really? Okay, let me fix my beard here.
Mustache.
Um,
Okay.
quick pause. I don't remember what we're talking about.
You were gonna talk about how you don't read people's text messages
Oh,
or don't
oh yeah,
respond.
yeah. So,
Oh, that was a good
uh,
one.
so, so what'll happen is somebody will send me a text message, and sometimes I can't get to it right away. What I'll do is I'll leave my messages. I'll just leave them unread if I can't respond at a certain
Uh-huh.
time. And so eventually I'll forget pretty quick because I forget things pretty quick. I'll forget. And then I'll be like, oh man, I should have replied like 4 hours ago. Well, then I feel like a piece of shit. So I don't
Yeah.
respond. And then
Yeah.
I'm like 2 days late. And now I'm embarrassed. And then
Yeah.
it's like I see them at the store. I'm like, shit, I forgot to respond. So now
I
I'm
got two
ducking them.
missed calls from this person. Shit.
Yeah. Oh, I feel terrible. Um, that yeah, and so then you just get yourself in a hole to where
Well,
I
have
give up. I gotta start
oh,
fresh, and then I start sending my own stuff as if it never happened. Like I just start talking as if
no,
I
what you'll
haven't
do
ghosted you.
sometimes, you'll send stuff that we've already posted. You're like, hey guys, did you see this? I'm like, Justin, shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Yeah, because I'm just in my own little world.
Yeah, well,
Really,
it
if you
hasn't
think about it,
changed. A week's
if you
gone
think
by and
about it,
nothing's changed.
it's really kind of arrogant. It's kind of arrogant because what it's
Oh,
in essence saying, and it's not what I mean to say. In essence, what it's saying is, I'm
you're not
here.
important enough. Yeah.
I'm here to contribute to you guys. I don't need to hear from you. I'm
I've got
here
it
to
all
give.
figured out.
I'm
Yeah.
here to bless you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna go back and get some stuff, and I'll come back when I've got it. In the
You two
meantime,
losers. Yeah. You guys
entertain
talk amongst
yourselves.
yourselves. Mhm.
Keep it down if you would, please. Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
not
have
what
my
I'm.
notifications on silent. We see Justin is sleeping. Like, man, he is sleeping all day. Oh, yeah, go ahead, go back there. I'll cut some time out. See if you can find what band that I've posted into our group. That's the heaviest of heavy metal band and the best metal band of all time.
Is really?
Um, I'm not gonna say they're better than Metallica, but they are definitely the heaviest and the best sounding, like heavy metal band.
Yeah. But
It's
who is it?
the Electric Wizard.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen those come through. I haven't listened to any of them.
You haven't? Dude,
Yeah.
there's a song called Funeralopolis, and you've heard it. There's it's a really
What
good
was the
one. I
one? What was the one where I
legalize
told you?
drugs and murder. Huh?
What was the one where I was like, that's the most metal, whatever that I've ever metal sounding song or something, or metal sounding. Recently, I sent you some, or you sent something, and that's what I responded.
Oh, it was a video of Funeralopolis of Electric Wizard. It's just
Okay.
we can do this. We're doing commentary. We can do it in 5 seconds. If not, we'll cut it out if this doesn't work. Um,
Um. Well, there's. Have you seen the Have you seen the video for like? It's like a demo video or something where the guy's like, "Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to raise hell? I'm ready to raise some cane. Let's rock and roll." Have you seen that video?
no.
It's awesome. You should see it. Well, hopefully it'll show up in your algorithm. I don't know how you would search it except for let's raise some let's raise some hell band video maybe. I don't know. I really
Elec-
wish that it was gonna when you did electric, like it would have showed up like you'd previously searched electric boogaloo or
Oh my
something.
God. I watched this video the other day, yesterday. Jeez, Louise. I'm
When was okay? 2000.
2000, my man.
Okay,
Is yeah, is when this album came out. The album's Deep Throne, the band's Electric Wizard, and this is a fan video on YouTube. Fan videos made by a guy named Closing Time Reviews, but we're just gonna play it in 5 second increments. Oh shit.
is this no? You're fine. Is this so? This isn't a band video.
No.
Okay, because
The album was 2000.
I'm trying to think of the name of the album is Dope Throne,
Uh-huh.
Electric Wizard. I'm trying to guess what kind of metal we're talking about here. I feel like
Oh,
this is going to
I'll tell
be
you the genre, the subgenre. I've sent you the picture of the subgenre, and I think that's what you said, is that's the most metal thing ever.
okay.
Two subgenres that they're considered. One of them is called stoner metal. The other one is called doom metal.
Ooh,
Doom.
yeah.
Doom. It's doom metal and stoner metal.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I
Is
love how my algorithm knows what I like.
yeah, it does. Is it the like death metal?
No, I think it's different because I don't like death metal, but I think it's close. It's death metal adjacent.
Okay, let's hear it.
We're back.
I got about a 10-minute warning here.
Okay.
I'm not generally a fan of like react videos, but I'm gonna react.
Okay. Yeah, dude, you got 8.5 minutes of this. It gets pretty fucking gnarly.
I do wish that this was that there was a band video, like an official video. We'll have to see if we can find
Let's
one
do it
after.
live. Oh.
But live isn't going to give us the real. It's not going to give us the real feel.
Oh, there is a band video. There is a band video.
Okay.
It's the one that was right here. This is by Electric Wizard.
Okay.
This is
let's
the
check this
official
out.
video.
Can you full screen it?
Hell yeah, I can.
This time of nuclear
I might make this a second video.
cannot afford to wait for the fight to come to us.
I'm gonna turn on controlled closed captions. Oh,
Oh, okay.
never mind. It's unavailable.
I was gonna say, is there any way that they're able to do the closed captions on it? Okay.
You need to understand that. You correct this stuff so it doesn't crack. This generation is so goddamn spoiled and lazy. The complacency of fools will destroy you.
Huh.
I can't remember.
I'm digging this thus far.
Yeah, dude, this fucking
Got a
bucks.
good groove. This might be the first music I've agreed with you on.
This gets so fucking hard. We can listen to another song after this, or we can. Maybe next time. I gotta keep moving my mouse in order for it to. And I think I need to say something sometimes so we're not just playing
Dude, I
the
think we
video.
should have this in. I think we should have this in the background for all of our podcasts. I think this is going to be like the band I saw in concert not too long ago.
I wonder if I can turn that volume down. Now you say something?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Perfect.
I saw a band in Wichita. They're from Tulsa. The band was called Peeling Flesh. And I feel like it might be a similar vibe. I'm anxious to hear the vocals. Yeah, bro. I dig it. I freaking dig it. I love it.
Oh my god, this makes me nervous. It's so good.
Oh, I love it. That's really good. So it is not what I expected. But I super dig that.
I'm gonna play a half of another one, just a little
Yeah,
bit.
play half of another one, and then I want you to play this one that I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Oh, I said this is the. I said my youth pastor John Stokes would have been proud.
Where did you come across these guys?
I hear this backlick that don 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 don. Don. I hear that in a lot of Instagram videos, and every time I hear it, I'm thinking, man, that fucking hits. So I went on a deep dive and found them, and yeah, just discovered their greatness. This next little ditty is called Legalize Drugs and Murder. I don't think there's a video for it, but you get the theme.
So it's book, book,
Oh,
book your
you
next book.
snookery. He's hitting a bong at the beginning.
Are these guys still around?
Yes, they've changed their name a couple times, but I think they're Electric Wizard right now. Listen. I want to make an art project to this song. I want to make like a video. This is like
I would go to this concert.
for sure.
Yeah,
And
dude.
what a libertarian message, you know? What a wholesome
A
like, for real.
message I can message you can
behind.
get behind. Yeah. You know, honestly, if we did legalize murder, I
People
don't
would be
know
a lot more behaved.
I think they would. I
Yeah.
think that you probably not have as much murder as you would think.
Oh man, so there's a story I was gonna tell tonight, but I'm gonna tell some other time. I'm gonna stop playing this so we don't get in total trouble. But it was actually, let's see if I can do it. A fight, the last real fight I had, not on the job, not like in a professional setting or not in martial arts. Like I've gotten thumped, and not like a bar push match where and then everyone breaks it up. Not that.
Right.
But the last time I really threw hands, I'm trying to hurt you, was in 7th grade. That's a story for another time. But I do want to put it on here. It started off with like the mentality I had, like if murder was legal, like, are you sure you want to talk to me like that? Like, because I have something that I don't think you're going to be prepared. Because I was a street hoodlum from Oklahoma and I got transplanted into Tennessee with all these nice children, and so
Right.
they weren't used to someone from the park, from the trailer park. So whenever they started getting lippy, gave them a little
Yeah.
sandwich.
Check one, check two.
All right,
Yeah, dude. I could totally get down with that. I'm
need
gonna
to-
start listening to him.
Yeah, just do yourself a favor and go through some of their ditties. Um, Legalized Drugs and Murder was a big one. Let's see what their hits are. Yeah, if the album cover is a devil with a big beard hitting a bong, I'm in. If the album cover is any of these, I think I'm in. How metal is this?
You really well. The only way you get more metal is if you have like the kind where it's just like all just lines that you can't read. You know what I mean? Like lightning type lines.
These are the wholesome songs that you're gonna hear. See You in Hell, Funeralopolis, Return Trip, which is actually a really cool one. I think I sent that video to you, or maybe it's a skateboarding video. A bunch of like black and white videos where people start drugging each other and hitting each other with We Hate You is like where this lady starts poisoning a champagne bottle and then she serves the champagne to like her family. It's just black and
Okay.
white. It's all pretty legit, dude.
Yeah,
Stuff that your youth pastor would like.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna check
2
them out.
hours, 2 hours and 1 minute. I dig it.
All right. Well,
All right,
stay real.
you do. Stay black and die.
Word.